a lot of what makes these virtual plots of land sell for real world prices as if they were buying physical real estate is because you could do much of the same things with this virtual land as you can with physical land. I
Okay.
think that's a big disconnect that people don't understand.
Welcome to House Rich, the real estate show. We talk to average people that have done above average things in real estate. The sponsor for today's show is House Rich, the official brand of home ownership. Use promo code POD for a discount at checkout. Today's episode, I'm super excited about. I'm excited about all episodes, but really this one. So it's about purchasing property in the metaverse, NFTs, crypto, what all that stuff is that you may have no idea about, kind of like me. And so I saw an article, you may have seen it too, like in November, where this company purchased like a plot of land, like in the metaverse for $2.4 million. And I was like, one, why? I was like, how? I was like, who they buy it from? I just had all these questions. So I started looking up experts online and I came across Jared. And so he's our guest today. He's going to break down a lot of things that you may have questions about, and a lot of things you don't know you have questions about as well. So you tell the folks a little bit about yourself, Jared.
Absolutely. My name is Jared T. Ross, and I'm a metaverse business consultant, which means I help you build, navigate, and profit in the metaverse of cryptocurrency, NFTs, and other related technology.
Okay. And so how did you get into the topic in the first place? Like, how do you become like an expert in that space?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I
All
think the
right, all
space
right.
is moving way too fast for people to be calling themselves an expert, especially as it relates to NFTs, which is
Okay,
NFTs are these plots of digital land. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
okay,
But I started back in cryptocurrency in 2017. That's when I started getting into it. Then I got hit upside the head with the crash of early 2018, and I
okay,
kind of just dabbled in it from there on. I didn't really dive deep. And then towards the beginning of last year of 2021, that's when I really started diving deep into it, and I realized where the space was going. And I
okay,
actually dropped out of school to focus on the metaverse, and
okay.
I've doubled
Wow.
down since then.
Okay. And so I think that was a great answer because a lot of folks will not correct you when you call them an expert. That's a great answer because the space is moving so quickly. I think a lot of people, jump on, they think they know this and that, but that was actually a great answer to me calling you an
Mhm.
expert. So just what is the metaverse to begin with? Like I know folks, me, I heard about it when Facebook changed their name to Meta. I think that's where a lot of
Mhm.
folks heard about it. Like what is the metaverse kind of in layman terms?
Right. So everybody that you ask is going to give you a different answer. And
All right.
every time you hear somebody talking about it, they probably mean something different than
All
the
right.
next person. So it's very ill-defined. And put yourself in this position. Imagine you have to explain what the internet is to somebody in the year 1800. It's kind of hard to convey that message without truly understanding it.
Gotcha.
And the way we think about the internet, it's not any one particular website, any one particular social media platform or internet service provider or gaming world, right? It's this interconnection of all these different technologies that allow this one place to exist.
Okay.
And so the metaverse operates in a similar way. It's made up of a whole bunch of different technologies. We're talking about cryptocurrency, the blockchain, of course, NFTs, and yes, virtual worlds and virtual gaming and augmented reality, virtual reality, so all types of different technology combining into this one ecosystem, which is the metaverse. And that's just my understanding. A lot of times when you hear people talk about the metaverse, what they are referring to is these virtual gaming worlds. If you or your audience have seen the movie Ready Player One,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
an example of an immersive metaverse, right? It's like a more immersive version of the internet where you can walk around, talk with friends, and have true ownership over those assets inside of that world. And so this metaverse, depending on who you ask, you're going to get a different understanding. But typically, when people are talking about it, when they talk about someone just bought some land in the metaverse,
Mhm.
they are referring to these virtual worlds. And understand that there's no one single metaverse right now. There's
Okay.
all these microcosms of the metaverse. The truest embodiment has not been created yet. But there's
Okay.
these microcosms, these virtual worlds like Somnium Space, Decentraland, Crypto Voxels, the Sandbox. These are all microcosms of the metaverse.
So those four things you just said, what are those? Those are like different like areas in the metaverse, or like what are those four things you just brought up?
Those are metaverses in and of themselves. They're
Okay,
basically virtual games, right? These
okay,
virtual worlds that you can enter inside of and you can walk around, you can buy land. It's really based on the blockchain, meaning
okay,
you have true ownership of those in-game assets. So let's rewind a little bit. Let's think about the movie Ready Player One.
okay,
That would be an example of a metaverse. It's just one of these virtual worlds. And within this virtual world, they
okay,
have different areas. They have different planets even in this virtual world. And all those assets inside of that virtual world, inside of the Ready Player One world, all those, the weapons that they have, the cars, the clothes, the homes, even their avatars, those are all actually NFTs if it were to be applied to the real world,
Okay.
right? Those are NFTs, and these NFTs are just uniquely identifiable digital assets whose ownership can be proven on the blockchain. So any and everything can become an NFT. But when we think of the metaverse, we think of these immersive virtual worlds. All those assets inside the game that you can own, those would technically be NFTs.
Okay. That was a great breakdown. Thank you. And so, like going back to the company that bought, I don't know if you know exactly who bought and all that, but what makes property valuable, like in the metaverse? Because with like land in California, it's like, okay, there's the beach, there's the coastline. They're not making any more physical land. Like, why is land even valuable to begin with in the
Right.
metaverse?
So most of these virtual worlds, they do have a limit on the amount of virtual land that's going to be created. However, theoretically, you could just continue to expand that, right? And sometimes I'm sure these games will expand that and just keep adding more and more land. However, a lot of what makes these virtual plots of land sell for real world prices as if they were buying physical real estate is because you could do much of the same things with this virtual land as you can with physical land. I
Okay.
think that's a big disconnect that people don't understand is they're thinking, why would someone spend 100,000 or millions of dollars on a
Yeah.
plot of virtual land that comes with no physical assets whatsoever? Well, the answer is because you can monetize it in the same way that you can physical land.
Okay.
So these brands will buy these plots of land because they can rent it out for people to host business conferences, to host concerts. They can put up ad space so that you can have sponsors. If you go and buy yourself a plot of land, you build something up on it, you can reach out to these other companies or other people and you can offer ad space on your land. And it
Okay.
depends on the virtual world, but some virtual worlds even have billboards that you can own as an NFT where you can allow people to put advertisements on. And you can also become a developer of this land. Because when you first buy that plot of land, it's just like a blank plot of land. In
Yeah.
most cases, you can sometimes buy already developed land, but you buy this virtual plot of land. It's just raw, there's nothing on it. And now someone needs to build on that, right? And so if you don't have the skills to go into a 3D modeling program and build a house or a building, you have to hire somebody else. So you can now, there's architects specifically for the metaverse. Think
Okay.
of all the overhead that's going to eliminate for them
Yeah.
as they start doing this. And so now you have these metaverse architects that get hired and paid just to develop this virtual plot of land, to build something on it to the client's needs. And so there's all these different ways that you can be monetizing this virtual land. A popular way of using it is if you're an artist, right? You build on this plot of land, you build
Right.
just a museum or an art gallery, and you can embed your art NFTs inside of this place, right on the wall. So people can walk into your building, they can click on your NFT art on the wall, and they can choose to buy it if they want. And so
Right.
another reason why some land is more valuable is the location. Think about if you were getting into Airbnbs, for example, right? You want to get an apartment. You want to get that apartment near places of interest, near concert venues, near food spots,
Mhm.
near this other famous place, right? And so in the metaverse, there's plots of land that are points of interest. Snoop Dogg, for example, has a nice big plot of land in the metaverse called the Sandbox.
Okay.
And so the land value right around his spot just went up because
Yeah.
he now owns that. He's going to have all these activities. He's going to drive all this foot traffic to that spot. And so now people want these places near him so that they can take advantage of that foot traffic. So that's another reason that makes some plots of land more valuable than others.
And who are people even buying the land from? Like when you buy a piece of land, like who are you buying the land from in the first place?
You buy that from the developers. You buy that from the developers of that metaverse, of that virtual world. Think of it like this. Have you ever played Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine if you could go and buy an ammunition spot inside of Grand Theft Auto
Okay.
in a multiplayer online world, right? So now you own that spot. Now you can be collecting like revenue as players go in there and buy weapons and buy upgrades and whatnot. So you would buy that plot of land directly from the game developers.
Okay.
Now, once that land has been sold from the game developers, like if I buy it from the game developer, now I own it. I can turn around and go sell it to another player if I want. So I can flip land as well. I don't even have to develop it if I don't want. I can just buy it early, wait until more attention comes to it, and then the price will be higher, and I can flip that.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Okay, so trying to make sure I comprehend this for me and the audience. So someone, a developer forms the metaverse. Hopefully they have a big name reputation that kind of makes the metaverse more valuable than if it were just like, I don't know, if I somehow created one. And then, okay, then becomes more valuable, then folks purchase not digital real estate, but virtual real estate within that lane. Is that kind of like a,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
So you and I, we can go and we can buy these virtual plots of land, either from the game developer directly, if they still have any for sale, or we can go to the secondary market and we can buy it from another person who already owns it.
got you. And
Mhm.
then so with certain plots of is virtual real estate, am I using the right term when I say like,
Sure.
okay,
Yeah.
so with certain plots of like virtual real estate, being like closer to like the sandbox, well, I guess why is it more valuable? Because I think in a virtual world, like, can you just pop up anywhere? Like, you're not actually like walking somewhere, or can you just move
Right.
around more
It
quickly?
totally depends. And this is another aspect that makes certain plots of land more valuable because there are going to be spawn points. So when you first join a game, right,
Okay.
you spawn, you end up in a certain area. So most of these virtual worlds will have like a central location, like a town center, where all new players are going to spawn by default. And if you get land around that area,
Okay.
that's going to be more valuable because of that foot traffic. And in some virtual worlds, you will have to literally walk to all these different
Gotcha.
spots, walk or fly. But some worlds will have teleporters, right? They'll have like teleporter stations where you walk into a teleporter, you end up in another part of the map. Now, if you can be around those teleporters, again, another opportunity to have higher property value because you're near one of these secondary spawn points at being near that teleporter. But you can typically send people directly to your coordinates using a URL.
Okay.
Typically there's going to be a way where you can just send them, okay, boom, you type this into your browser, you're going to end up right at my spot.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So, like, I'm from DC, so I know typically like a condo near the metro is more valuable than something else. That's a kind of like a spawn point there. And so jumping back, you talked about putting up like NFTs and stuff within the metaverse of your property. Can you kind of explain for the audience what an NFT is? Break that down a little bit for us, please.
Right. Yeah. So once again, NFT is just a uniquely identifiable digital asset whose ownership can be proven on the blockchain. And let me address something real quick. A lot of people make fun of NFTs saying, oh, you can just screenshot it. Well, I'd like you to go and screenshot a plot of virtual land and then go try to resell that. You
Yeah.
can't. I mean, because there's actual ownership that's provable on the blockchain. And if you're not familiar with the blockchain, it's just a public digital ledger, which means records of all these transactions that ever happened. So you can see when somebody actually owns something. And so if you were to take a screenshot of one of these NFTs of a virtual plot of land, go ahead and go inside that metaverse and go try to edit that plot of land that you
Yes.
think you own with your screenshot. You don't own it. You have to actually purchase that. And so NFTs, anything can be an NFT. We
Okay.
could take a screenshot of this call right here and we can turn that into an NFT. It doesn't mean it's going to be valuable.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people get confused about. NFTs are not valuable just because they're NFTs.
Mhm.
They're valuable either because of the art or the artist behind it or the utility behind it. Because not all NFTs are going to be art based. Those plots of land that are NFTs, they got nothing to do with art. It's the
Okay.
utility behind it because now you own this plot of land inside of one of these metaverses. You can build on it, you can sell it, you can flip it, you can have parties on it, whatever it may be. So NFTs are uniquely identifiable digital assets.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And so are they saying this wrong? Are they like made of crypto, or like I always hear like Ethereum? I'm saying that correctly. Kind of and NFTs kind of used interchangeably, or is that how are they bought? Like, how does crypto and NFTs
Crypto
intertwine?
and NFTs are both on the blockchain. So
Okay.
again, the blockchain is just this digital public ledger. So everybody can see all these transactions that have ever happened. You can see who owns what, when they bought it, who they bought it from. You can see all of this information. And so cryptocurrency is based on the technology called the blockchain,
Okay.
as are NFTs. And that's the connection. So typically you're going to have to buy NFTs using a cryptocurrency. There's some
Okay.
platforms will allow you to buy using credit cards and debit cards or whatnot, but typically you're going to have to pay in crypto.
Okay. And so how does one like actually go about making an NFT? Like for instance, if you want to take a screenshot of this call, how would I make an
Mhm.
NFT out of that
It's
screenshot?
super, super simple. I actually have a
Okay.
free tutorial on my YouTube channel that will
Okay.
guide you through that process. So there are these NFT marketplaces such as OpenSea and Rarible. So these are just two of many NFT marketplaces. And put simply, if you can make a Facebook marketplace listing or you can make an eBay listing, you can make an NFT. There's no technical experience required whatsoever. You literally just go to this website, hit the create button, and you fill in the blanks. You upload your image, you put the title of it, you put the price that you want, you put the royalty percentage, you put all this information. Now, that process is actually called lazy minting. So when we hear the term minting, it means the same thing as creating an NFT. It's
Okay.
not the design process, but it's the process of taking that digital asset, that image or video, whatever it may be, and putting the coding behind it and connecting it to the blockchain to officially turn it into an NFT. So that's the minting process.
Okay.
So again, I mentioned that it requires some coding. Now, the lazy minting process, where you just fill in the blanks, that does not require any coding because it's lazy minting. So they're just
Okay.
going to generic smart contract template, which is the code, and they're just going to fill in the blanks for you and turn that image into an NFT for you. Now, when you see projects that operate at the scale of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example, where they have 10,000 different NFTs inside of that project, they're not doing that process called lazy minting. They're not
Okay.
going through one by one creating each individual NFT. Instead, they hire they hire a dev team, a team of developers to build them out a custom smart contract and manually deploy that to the blockchain. That's much more intensive, much more technical, and you typically have to have some capital unless you know somebody who can do that coding for you. So
Okay.
those are the two processes. Super easy to make one for yourself, but if you want more control, if you want to operate at a higher scale, you do need a custom smart contract in most cases.
And from the end user, can you tell if it was lazy minting or the in-depth minting just by looking at it, or is it just transparent to the end user?
Yeah, you can always tell because
Okay.
it's going to be on the blockchain, and if you like, you have to know how to read through code and be able
Yes.
to identify this stuff. But you could identify that if you wanted to, but I mean, the layman isn't going to really care
Gotcha.
what strategy, as long as it's a quality project and the concept is strong.
Okay. Okay. So I've lazy minted my NFT. Um, I don't know. My wife buys it for some reason. Where does she hold it? Like, where's the NFT actually at? Like, what
So
happens to
that
it?
NFT is going to be held inside of a cryptocurrency wallet. So
Okay.
these cryptocurrency wallets, they can hold both NFTs and cryptocurrency. So the number one recommendation is MetaMask. That's my number one recommendation for new people is set yourself up a MetaMask wallet. And so this
Okay.
has a little fox icon. So this MetaMask wallet, it's a Google Chrome browser extension, and you can also have it on your phone and you can sync those two accounts. But this will allow you to hold your cryptocurrency. And when you create an NFT, it's going to be held inside of there. And then when you put it for sale, once you do make that sale, then that NFT is going to automatically be sent out to whoever bought it, and then you'll receive whatever cryptocurrency was paid to get that NFT. And then if you buy any other NFTs, it'll go inside that wallet as well.
Okay. And so, can people see like inside your wallet? Like, can they see where?
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. So right now, if y'all wanted to, y'all could go on to OpenSea, right? That's one of those NFT marketplaces. You can look up my name, Jared T. Ross, and then you can look inside of my wallet. You can see all these NFTs that I have. You can look at all my history, see what I've done. And if you want to go further, you can copy my public wallet address because every wallet, every cryptocurrency wallet will have a public address. That's how
Okay.
people send you stuff. You can copy that. You can go to a website called EtherScan. And this is the blockchain explorer for Ethereum. And so you go on that website, you paste my address, you hit search, and now you can see all transactions I have ever done, both
Okay.
in cryptocurrency and with NFTs. And you can look right inside my wallet, and you can do that with anybody's.
So, how do we know that your wallet is like your wallet? Because I thought one of the things with crypto was I'm gonna mispronounce this word, but and being anonymous, basically. So, how do
Right,
we
right.
know it's actually you?
And it depends because I have other wallets that I don't have connected to my identity.
Okay.
But my main OpenSea profile, it's titled Jared T. Ross. So you know, okay, that's probably him. I talk about it. I tell people, hey, this is my wallet address. So it's really up to the individual. But there's plenty of people who are totally anonymous,
Okay.
at least to us. Like if the federal government wanted to investigate, they could probably track them down.
Gotcha.
But um, yeah, for most people, they can choose if they want to remain anonymous or not. It's really up to them. I've just happened to choose to showcase,
Okay.
my portfolio to most people, but I could have extra wallets that y'all don't know about.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
And you talked a little bit previously about a URL. Is that like the Web 3.0 thing, or like you talked about it? You talk about Well, I guess what is Web 3.0 and how does that relate to the metaverse? I guess I
Mhm.
just asked that
So,
question.
so Web3 is also a somewhat ill-defined
Okay.
concept, but it's basically the next step of the internet. Because
Okay.
right now, what we know as Web 2 is all these, flat surface websites and all that, and you don't have true ownership. Web 3 is more ownership based. For example, I'll highlight a key difference between Web 3 and Web 2. So on Web 2, we have Instagram, right?
Okay.
And people sign up for profiles and they create their accounts. Well, somebody years and years ago created an account called the Metaverse, right? It was just a lady. I think she wasn't even doing anything related to the Metaverse, but her
Uh-huh.
name just happened to be Metaverse. That
Yeah.
was her username. So Facebook recently, as they got into this line of business and changed their name, they actually took her Instagram username. Like they just took her account
Okay.
because it was
I
titled Metaverse. She didn't do anything wrong. They're like, "Oh, that's mine." And they just took it.
okay.
Now in Web3, in some cases in Web3, you actually own your username as an NFT. That metaverse I mentioned called Decentraland. If you want to sign up for a username there, you actually turn that username into an NFT and now you own it.
Okay.
So the people behind the creators of Decentraland, they can't decide, okay, we want that username, it's ours now. Because it's an NFT, it's on the blockchain, you own that.
Okay.
So for example, um, if we want to think of buying a plot of land, right? Let's say we buy a plot of land next to Snoop Dogg. And now the United States government is coming to us and say, hey, we're taking over your virtual plot of land next to Snoop Dogg. They can't. They can't. They have to pay
Gotcha.
for that, or they just have to go somewhere else. They can't just take that, right?
Okay.
Because we have true ownership. So Web3 is truly ownership based.
Okay. And so how does one get on Web3? Like I'm on the internet right now and I type in www.whatever.com.
Mhm.
Like how do I actually get on there? Is that or
So
am I
you
using the
start
right term?
interacting, right? You start interacting with different platforms that
Okay.
are integrated with Web3. So as you get into cryptocurrency, right? As you set up your cryptocurrency wallet, like MetaMask, now you're going to start being able to interact with Web3. So this Web3 world, your portal to that is cryptocurrency, is the blockchain. So as you start getting into that space, you'll naturally start finding these platforms. Like they got social media platforms, right?
Okay.
Where people will, instead of just liking your post, every like, you'll earn a tiny little bit of cryptocurrency for that particular platform, right? And you can also, if you really want to get into it, you can go and buy a Web3 domain name. So we have .coms for Web2, right? So we got these .coms, but those can be censored. They can be shut down. Now, if you go into Web3 and you go buy yourself a Web3 domain name, like for example, I have jaredtross.eth, right?
Okay.
So with that domain name, I have true ownership over it. I could build a website that cannot be censored, that
Okay.
cannot be taken down. It's on the blockchain. So there's nobody really centrally controlling that. So that can't be taken down. And with that address, I can also use it to accept cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So instead of people copy and pasting this long, complicated series of numbers and letters, which is typically your wallet address, now people can just type in jaredtross.eth if they want to send me something. So that's another way that you can utilize Web3.
Oh, okay. Um, and as far as jumping back to the virtual real estate, is there like a marketplace? You know, like you can go to Zillow and see like plots of
Mhm.
land or not, houses for sale. Is there like something similar with that when it
Yeah,
comes to
it's,
like
it's going to
virtual?
be OpenSea. It's
Oh,
going to
okay.
be
Oh, OpenSea is pretty much answered all those questions.
right, right. And you have to be very careful though, because when you go on OpenSea, which again, as a reminder, is that NFT marketplace. When you go on OpenSea, if you just go to the search bar and you search up what you're looking for, like plots of land in the sandbox, right? You're very likely to encounter some type of scam postings because people
Okay.
can create these scam postings that look legit. They're not. So the best route that you can take is Googling or going on Twitter and finding these projects, these metaverses like Somnium Space, Decentraland, Crypto Voxels, etc. Find them on Twitter or Google them. And you want to get to their main website. You find
Okay.
their main website, and from there, they'll have a link for you to look at lands, which will take you to OpenSea, which is where you can purchase.
Okay, because that's a good point. That was gonna be my next question. Like, how do you know like what's a scam or not, especially for like a layman, like I think most people are when it comes
Right.
to that. So
That's super important, and I do cover that extensively. I have my course, the NFT equation, but I have taken my safety and security module from that course and I'm giving it away for free.
Okay.
And I'm doing that because if people start getting into this NFT and cryptocurrency space and then they get scammed, they often think the whole space is a scam.
Yeah.
And it's an unpleasant experience as a whole. And I don't want people to have to pay to be safe. And so that's why I took that module and I'm giving that away for free. And you can find the link to that in my bio, or you can go to nftequation.com/safety and you can get that course or that module for free to make sure you're safe as you navigate the NFT space.
Okay, thank you. If you watch on YouTube, it'll be in the description. If you listen to podcasts, it'll be in the description as well, so you can access that there as well. I just lost my train of thought. What question was I just going to ask? Sorry. I just drew a blank. Oh yeah. So what's one kind of big misconception about like crypto? Some people say that it's valueless. Some people say, hey, some people thought crypto would hit 100K by the end of last year. Like what's I guess, what are your thoughts on crypto, and what's probably one big misconception you would say when it comes to crypto?
People who say it's worthless, or there's nothing really backing it. Well, we're human beings. We just make up the value. Like we
Yeah,
make up the value of the dollar. We don't have it backed by gold anymore or
yeah,
anything. And as we see, the crazy part about cryptocurrency since its inception is we've consistently seen far greater returns than like saving your money in a bank, right? It's pitiful when you put away money to save in your bank, thinking you're going to accrue interest, and you will at like 0.1%,
yeah.
0.05%. It's pathetic. Well, you can take that same money, you can convert it into a cryptocurrency called a stable coin, as a matter of fact. So these stable coins are pegged to the US dollar value. So meaning they're always going to be a dollar and 1 cent, 99
Okay.
cents. They're always going to be in that range. And so you can put your money into that, and then you can stake it. And when you stake cryptocurrency, you're basically just saying, okay, I'm gonna lock it up for this period of time. And in that staking period, you can earn interest on that. And that interest, 2%, 3%, 5%, 8%, 10%, it just keeps going, right?
Okay.
And you can stake for a lot more. And so it's essentially saving, but you're actually earning interest that makes some movement in your account instead of
Okay.
just a couple of cents, every year. So I'm absolutely convinced that cryptocurrency will be around
Okay.
for the long run, and it's going to be where the world is starting to move towards. And I think gaming, once NFTs and cryptocurrency get more integrated into the gaming world, I think that's going to fuel the mass adoption that we have yet to see with cryptocurrency and NFTs.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And I think one the hesitancy some folks have in kind of diving into the crypto space is how do you actually purchase stuff with it, like in real life? Is there a way, like I'm going to the groceries or I'm going to a movie, like to me there doesn't seem to be like any everyday use of crypto, or maybe I'm just not in that world.
Mm,
But I mean, can you use crypto on like everyday things, or
yeah, absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. You can. It just matters on if they're accepting it. AMC, for example, they're in talks to start accepting. I think it's Bitcoin and Dogecoin
Okay.
for people to purchase movie tickets. And increasingly, you're going to start walking down the street and you'll see a business that says we accept crypto,
Okay.
we accept Bitcoin. So you're going to see that more and more. And already we have this whole world of whole digital world of this marketplace, both for NFTs, and you can go to websites you can buy physical goods with your cryptocurrency. I think one of these headlines years and years ago, some guy spent 10,000 Bitcoin on two pieces
Pizza.
or two pizzas.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
I
you can
guess it's kind of
absolutely
like
do it.
maybe like credit cards were back in the day. It's probably like, hey, who's going to, give a piece of plastic over to somebody and buy stuff? So yeah, and kind of, yeah, maybe equate it to
Mhm.
that. So where do you see things maybe taking off with crypto, the metaverse, NFTs, and I don't know, in 2022 and beyond? Like, do you see I don't know, any predictions for the future for any of that?
I believe we've already seen record volume on OpenSea
Okay.
just in this month so far. So that's a good sign. But I mean, we're still gonna have those ups and downs. We're gonna have those times where crypto is dipping, like right now,
Mhm.
and then people are starting to abandon all hope, and then
Yeah.
it roars back to life, hits new
Yeah.
all-time high. Now all these people are excited about it. So we're still gonna have these cycles, but I am excited to see a whole lot more adoption, hopefully fueled by gaming
Okay.
this year.
And what causes those sometimes wild swings? Like I know, if like I don't know, if Apple stopped drop, maybe there's some bad news or something like that with
Mhm.
the company. But what causes those moves with like cryptocurrency that are sometimes so violent, up and down?
Right. I'm no market analyst or
Okay.
anything, but it's very similar to that same concept. For example, every few years, China says it's going to ban Bitcoin,
Yeah,
and
that's a
it
good
takes
point.
a big dump. So it's really, it is news based, it's development based. What news is coming out with this blockchain? Is there a lawsuit going on? Is the SEC getting harder on cryptocurrency? Is a big business about to adopt cryptocurrency? Is a big business about to get into NFTs? So it really matters on just the market sentiment, how people are feeling, how scared people are, and
Okay.
how excited people are.
Okay. Okay. So let's see if I've learned during this episode. So to me, I'm a layman. I want to say, hey, I want to get into this virtual real estate world. So the first thing maybe the second thing I would do is go to like to OpenSea. I would maybe look up some virtual real estate. Then I would make sure it's legit. I'd probably go to their website and um is there like maybe a price point I should be looking at? Like I know in Dallas, like I know a a good property, I'm doing air quotes, maybe like $300,000. Like, is there a price
Mhm.
point that you kind of layman should be looking at when it comes to?
I think the minimum price amongst those three or four metaverses that I mentioned
Uh-huh.
is 11,000, maybe 10,000.
Okay.
And you're getting like the smallest plot of land possible for that price. And you can go much higher than that. It really depends on what you're looking for. But before you get to that stage, here's what you should be doing. Number
Okay.
one is set up your MetaMask wallet or your
Oh, that's
cryptocurrency.
rough. I know I forgot one step.
Set that one up first. And then go and study and research these different metaverses,
Okay.
right? Because you wouldn't necessarily just jump into any city that has something for sale and buy it. You
Makes
do some
sense.
research on it. You see what, hey, what's going on here? What future does this city have?
Okay.
Right. And so you want to analyze these different metaverses. Go look at the Sandbox website. Go look at who's involved in that project. Look at what big brands are buying into it. Then go check out Decentraland, see what people have been doing there. Check out Somnium Space. Check out Crypto Voxels. Go check these worlds out. Really study them and see, okay, my money is on this particular metaverse doing
Okay.
better than these ones. And at that point, now you can go start looking at their land, seeing what makes certain plots of land more valuable than others. And
Okay.
now you can get your eyes on these plots of land to purchase and then have an idea of what you're going to do with it. Maybe you just hold on to it, no
Mhm.
development, cool. Or maybe you do want to build some type of activity for people to come and do there, and then you can drive traffic there. Then you can start getting sponsors there, or maybe you just want to flip it. It's up to you, but
Okay.
study those platforms and choose one that you have conviction in.
So I've bought a piece of virtual land right now.
Mhm.
I've sat on it. It's 5 years later. It's blown up in value. How do people even contact me to sell it? Are they hitting me through the wallet or the open space? Like, how do people get in touch with me?
OpenSea,
Okay,
OpenSea.
so
All
open
you
sea
do
stuff.
is yeah. So you buy it, and now you can see it on your OpenSea account. You click on it, you hit the sell button, and you list whatever price that you want. Now,
Okay.
if people really did want to contact you and try to negotiate, for example, what they could do if you have your identity connected to your OpenSea profile, like you can link your Twitter and Instagram
Oh,
website and
okay.
all that, then they can reach out to you via one of those platforms and then follow up like, hey, look, I see you got this land for sale. I think this is a more reasonable offer. Or people can literally just click make offer right there on your listing. So you may have it listed for 100K. Someone can hit make offer and they'll offer you 80K. And then you
Okay.
can decide from there if you want to accept that or not.
All right. And what would you say are the top two in your opinion, just as far as metaverse, like where you would start if you were a layman?
Right. Um, if I was brand new, I think a very easy world to get into is going to be crypto voxels. I wouldn't necessarily want that to be where I buy the land, but I think it's a great introduction because it's very user friendly. So crypto
Okay.
voxels, you can just type that into your browser and you can join it. Some of these other worlds are more intensive on your computer, so they might require more advanced computers, or they just might require a download. So CryptoVox is probably the easiest way to begin understanding what the metaverse is
Okay.
by actually interacting with it. But if I wanted to buy some lands, I would probably be looking at the sandbox. The
Okay.
sandbox because of the recent development of it. It's coming out with it's finally releasing in should be sometime this year, but they're doing land sales. They've had an alpha version of their game for early adopters, they have a lot of corporate adoption. A lot of big brands are buying into there. A lot of celebrities are buying land in there. They have a lot planned, and they have a big emphasis on gamification of
Okay.
everything, which is really, really cool. So Sandbox is probably where I would look to buy some lands.
Okay. And how do I maneuver around? Am I like, so let's go back to the GTA thing. Am I like on a computer and just, for like a better term, with a controller maneuvering around? Do I have VR goggles? All of the above? Like, how do I
It,
maneuver
it
around?
depends. It depends on the metaverse. Some of these
Okay.
metaverses will be compatible with virtual reality. So you can put on your Oculus headset and you can play that way. But most of them are going to have a feature where you can just play using your computer, mouse, and keyboard.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That was a lot of information. Thank you. Hopefully I asked the right questions. I don't know. Is there anything like I missed where like you know, you could have I could have touched on this or that? Is there anything like, hey, just kind of like a catch-all thing you can think of? I don't know if there's anything I kind of missed.
I would just say take your time. I
Okay.
take your time in this space. There's going to be a learning curve if you don't have experience in cryptocurrency and NFTs already. There's going to be a learning curve. It's going to be worth it because I
Okay.
guarantee you this is inevitable. This is the world that we are moving towards. So you can either get ahead now or you can play catch up later.
Okay.
It's really up to you, but getting into this space is vital. This is where it's pretty much written. This is where the world is going to go, whether you
Okay.
like it or not. So it's best to just garner an early understanding of the space, and you're probably going to have some headaches along the way, but it
Gotcha.
will be worth it.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it. And so my last question I always ask folks is you have $1 million, you have to spill it, you have 7 days to spend it on real estate adjacent stuff. What do you do with it?
Mm, okay, got $1 million, $1 million in Ethereum. That's a cryptocurrency I would be spending.
Okay.
I would buy land in each of those metaverses
Okay.
and I would hire someone to develop something on that land for all of them.
Okay. Okay, cool,
Yeah,
cool. Thank you. So once again, where can folks find you? Kind of plug your products. Everything he mentions will be in the description to this episode, but yeah, let the folks know where to find you.
absolutely. I am Jared T. Ross on all platforms. You look that
Okay.
up, you're going to find me. That's
All
where
right.
I'm at. And then if you want to learn more about NFTs, which includes this virtual real estate, you can go to nftequation.com.
Okay.
And this is a fully fledged, it's 5 hours of highly structured content. One of my gifts is explaining things to people and allowing them to get involved in this space. And so this is a highly structured course with over 5 hours of content. And in Q1 of 2022, I will be doubling the amount of content in there.
Okay.
So buy in, you get lifetime access and lifetime updates. So as I continue to learn and grow in the NFT space, so too does that course, and
Okay.
so too does the value of that course for the people who are enrolled in it.
Okay, awesome. And so I do have one more question. I know we just kind of did the
Sure.
wrap up. So I think I see a lot of times online where people are promoting NFTs and stuff like that. It's, hey, I bought this NFT for, I don't know, $5,000 in January. It's February. It's worth $100,000. First off, that seems like, obviously I would assume that's the anomaly. Like, what is going on there? Like, how do those prices seem to jump so quick with certain projects?
It depends on the adoption
Okay.
and the utility behind these projects. And yeah, a lot of people get lucky and then
Okay.
they leverage that to grow their brand or get
Yeah.
a big video. What I teach inside that course, amongst other things, I take you from A through Z, but I teach strategic project analysis, which
Okay.
is why I've hit like 3 10Xs in the last 30 to 60 days
Okay.
of these projects that I get into, and then they multiply by 10X in their value. And so, yeah, it's not common to see these projects like the Board Ape Yacht Club, but a 2 3 4 5X, yeah, it's fairly common if you get
Okay.
into these projects that have solid foundations. So what brings those price increases is the community. So if I buy into a project, we collectively as a community, we get to set that minimum price because we get to list it at whatever the hell we want. So we
Okay.
can we can buy into an NFT for 1 Ethereum. Now, if we collectively lose faith in that project, that floor price is going to start creeping down. It's going to go to like half an Ethereum. But if we are really excited, if the founding team continues to add value and more utility, more benefits of ownership, then that price might go to 1.5, might go to 2 ETH. It just keeps increasing. So it really depends on the relationship between the founding team and the community.
Okay, cool. That was a good wrap up. I equated jumping back to real estate. It's kind of probably like buying like a house in a new construction neighborhood where there's literally no houses. They build the first
Mhm.
home. That's the comparable sale is that first house, and hopefully it only goes up from there. So
Right,
um,
right.
yeah. So like I said, really appreciate it. Thanks for your time. That was a topic that I was totally I was totally what green thumb on, whatever the term is.
Mhm.
Thanks for your time. There's not an outro to this podcast, so that is it. Thank you.